Hey boys and girls, this is Mrs. Bryson. Welcome to my classroom. I'm glad to have you here today. Last night, my third grade class and I had a Zoom meeting, and one of the activities that we did was we were working on learning how to make origami butterfly bookmarks. So some of my friends were able to pick that up by the end of the lesson. Some were still working on it. So for those friends who seemed like they needed more practice, I let them know that I was going to create a video that they could use to go back and take a look at it after the Zoom meeting was over yesterday. That way, if they need to rewind, go back, watch it several times to help them figure it out, they have that as a resource to be able to use. So I'm glad that you're here today. I hope that you will persevere with me through this activity. If I was with you in the classroom, I would have the ability to do things like come around to where you're sitting, help you out with a fold, show you what to do. And unfortunately, since we're at home right now, the only thing I can do is offer this video. And I hope that you can use it to help you learn how to create your own origami bookmark. Okay, so here are two examples of the bookmarks that we are going to work on making together today. The only materials that you will need in order to create your own bookmark are a piece of paper, or maybe several pieces of paper if you need extra to give you a couple of extra tries, and a pair of scissors. So if you don't have those materials, go ahead and grab those real quick, pause the video, and then come back as soon as you are ready. Okay, so I made my butterflies nice and big so that when I'm doing my work, you can see them up close and see everything that I am doing. All right, so let me get these out of the way. You should have a piece of paper in front of you. Mine happens to be yellow. Yours doesn't need to be any particular color. The first thing that we need to do is we need our paper to be in the shape of a square. A lot of times in origami, we will start with that square shape. With this one, we're actually going to use a rectangle, but we're going to start off by making a square so that our rectangle can be the size and shape that we need it to be. So the first thing that you need to do is grab one of the corners of your piece of paper. You're going to fold it up and over to make a triangle. So this top part of the paper here, you want to have lined up to the side of the paper over here. So we're going to lift this up. We're going to bring it over. You're going to make sure that the top of your paper is lined up perfectly with the side over here, so it makes a nice point. And then at the bottom, you have a really nice rectangle left over. Okay, so I'm going to push this down and crease it. So now you have a triangle that you folded over and that rectangle at the top. The rectangle is going to be a part that we do not need. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut that rectangle off. Okay, and then you can open that back up and you can see that you've now made a square. Now, if you really like doing origami, you can actually buy origami paper that's already cut into a square for you. If you don't have special origami paper that's already cut to the right size, you can always do this to make your paper the size that you need and the shape that you need to do your project. All right, so the next thing we need to do is to make it the size rectangle that we actually want to create the butterfly bookmark. So we're going to take our paper, we're going to fold it in half. Okay, go ahead and crease it. Then open it back up. Take the other side of your paper, okay, and we're going to fold it in again. But this time we're going to take the end and we're going to fold it into that center line that we made before. Line it up, and then make another crease. And open it up again. Okay, so we now have a big fat rectangle over here, and then we have two skinny rectangles over here. We need our scissors again. This will be the last time you need your scissors, and we're going to cut off one of those skinny rectangles that's on the side. Okay, so that required a little bit of prep work to get our paper into the shape that we needed, but we are now ready to go. We don't need to cut anymore, and at this point, all we need to do is take our paper and fold it into our butterfly. All right, so we're gonna take our paper and we're gonna fold it this way. My kids at school, I'm not sure who they got this from. They got it from another teacher besides me. They call this folding it hamburger style because when we fold this way, it makes it short and fat like a hamburger. If we would fold it this way, it would make it long and skinny like a hot dog. Okay, so we're going to fold it hamburger style. Line it up and fold it. And then we're going to go the other way and fold it a second time. And you can open it back up. Okay, at this point, your paper kind of looks like a little book. We're going to take one side of our little book. If you look at it, you should be able to see that you can open it up. Okay, so we're going to take this side. I would take a finger and stick it down into the fold to open it up nice. And then we're just going to push it down to make a triangle. Okay, let me show that to you one more time. There's two tricky things about this project. This is the first one. So again, we're going to take this, stick a finger down in to open it up nice and wide, and then we're going to push this down to make it a triangle. So right now your paper should look like this. Okay, now we need to make a triangle on the other side. So what I would do is take your paper, flip it upside down. You now have on this other side your fold that you did not work with yet. So just like you did for the first one, you're going to stick a finger in, make sure that you open it up nice and wide, and then push it down into a second triangle. Okay, at this point you should have a little opening down here at the bottom. You should have a triangle on the front and a triangle on the back. Okay, next we're going to take these little flaps that are down here at the bottom. We're going to fold them up just a little bit to make a little triangle down here at the bottom. Do the same on the other side and try to make them folded at about the same angle. Okay, at this point, this part of the origami kind of reminds me of Mr. Bryson's shirts that he wears when we have places to go other than being at home. All right, and I would make sure at this point that you use a nail to just really crease these folds that you just made hard, because if you crease them really well, it will make it a whole lot easier to do the next part. Okay, all right, this next part coming up is going to be the hardest part of the project. So once we get past this, you are good to go. All right, so you are going to want to take these triangles and you're going to flip them inside out. Okay, so on the first side, you're going to pull this apart and fold this down. So now that triangle that you made is inside. Okay, same thing on the other side. We're going to pull it apart and then tuck it inside. Okay, and now you have a shape like this. We only have one more thing we need to do to finish up our butterfly bookmarks. Okay, so we now have two layers on each side. There's a top layer and there's a bottom layer underneath. I want you to take just one layer for each side and you're going to fold it up a little bit. The angle is not super important. Okay, take the other side, try to fold it up so that it's about the same angle as the first one. And there you have your origami butterfly bookmark. So the last thing that we need to do is we need to take a look at how to take our butterflies and to use them as bookmarks. So if you take your bookmark, okay, up at the top of the butterfly, you're going to see that it will fold open. So the details for the butterfly are on the front, makes a little pocket right here where it opens up. All right, so I grabbed a book that just happened to be in the room where I am. It's a little out of season, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to open up my book. I'm going to take my butterfly bookmark. I'm going to squeeze it just a little bit so it makes that pocket. And then I'm going to slip the pocket over the page. And then you have your butterfly bookmark. So if you're reading a book that's a little longer and you need to hold your place, this can be a fun way to use something in order to keep track of where you are. All right, I really hope that you enjoyed making butterfly bookmarks with me today. If you did a great job and you're satisfied with the result, I would love to see a picture so that I know that you persevered and learned how to do something new. If you got to the end and yours does not quite look like a butterfly and you're not happy yet with your result, I encourage you to watch the video again and give it another try to see if you can get it. Have a great day, friends.